the scoring was correct, I think Oliveira would have beat him in that fight because Oliveira threatened him with submissions a couple times.
That's true.
That to me is more valuable than just holding a guy down.
And he had a pretty good fight with Islam back when he was 21.
Right.
I mean, he scrambles.
I'd already be champ if he could keep it together outside of the
100.
cage.
Well, who knows what would have happened in the Oliveira fight? It was a proper 5-rounder.
No way that it cannot be Arman. Now the question becomes this: is Justin Gaethje better for saying no to a guy that he beat and fighting a guy who seems to be a very difficult matchup in Arman Tsarukyan? Or is Justin Gaethje still playing the game ahead of us? Tell me, man, he knew he was going to win that fight. People just didn't give him a chance. So it has to be Arman. I get what Dubronx is saying. He's the BMF champ. He feels like he beat Max Holloway.
You're next for the title. They want you next. So have you gotten a call from the UFC? When can we see you compete there?
On Monday, I'm going to Vegas.
Oh, nice.
And I'm going to have a news, so I'm going to fight soon.
That's great for the title.
I would like to fight with Oliveira. He is the most dangerous guy who deserves to fight for the title.
He's only 29 years old. 2 years ago when he fought Charles before his prime and still was able to beat him.
I do believe Arman is a #1 contender.
Charles past his prime isn't really getting quicker or better. Arman's gonna get this one done and they think he's gonna win the belt after beating Charles.
Arman versus Oliveira. Stakes, BMF title. I love it. I don't know that you could have made yourself look bad at 155, though. Max could have either one of those spots with any one of those guys. Ilya versus Max works all day long. Patty versus Max works all day long. Max versus Gaethje. Max versus Tsarukyan, right? But now I can start doing it the other way, too, and tell you Patty and all the different possible options. Ilya and all the different possible options. But I wanted to bet on this one, and you want to know why, guys? Parity. UFC 300 was just yesterday. I just got put into the Hall of Fame. And I found out that night at UFC 300 was the night that they let me know. And that just happened. But as I look back and they just had a Hall of Fame last week. And I think, again, I didn't get just put in, which was a year ago. It's been 2 years. So UFC 300 has been 2 years. And that was in April, May, June, July. And a handful of months. Interesting.
Because it was so personal with you and Ilya, did you take joy out of seeing him lose?
You know, like me versus Ilya would be a big fight, bigger than Justin and me. But right now on my career, I just want to become a champion, no matter like who is going to be in front of me. I want to break the record in lightweight division to be the best lightweight fighter ever.
Who do you think would have been a tougher matchup for you?
Nobody. Only one guy who was tough for me, and he moved up to 170.
Islam.
Yes. Nobody in lightweight division can beat me right now.
We heard that today there might be an announcement that Arman Tsarukyan will maybe be fighting Charles Oliveira for the BMF. We're not sure. How do we think that rematch goes?
It's a good fight.
I think it's Arman's fight.
Yeah,
all day long. All day long.
I think
point in
Arman's
his career,
gotten better,
I don't think that matchup is going to stop him.
I hear that it's not going to be for the BMF belt.
Oh, really?
Oh, I heard that they might be even getting rid of it.
Oh, wow. I did not hear that.
Charles ruined that
Charles,
shit.
what have you done?
Ruined it. No fun.
Charles, God.
And I wanted to fight for the BMF belt. That's the only belt I really wanted, you know?
I'll tell you where I'm landing is Arman Tsarukyan. I feel like he's just got too much momentum. He's got an amazing skill set. People are saying that he's got a slight striking advantage. Curious to hear your thoughts. I know Charles Oliveira, I think his Muay Thai is excellent, but they feel like Arman Tsarukyan is a little bit cleaner on with his hands. And also, he's not going to be afraid to take it to the ground with Charles Oliveira. I think that's what the downfall potentially was for Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje. They didn't want to follow him down. He recovered and ended up winning. Justin, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, man. This guy, Arman Tsarukyan he's on the up and up right now. He's red hot. He's fire. I do think he has the striking advantage against Charles Oliveira. As I see this fight going, I mean, I could see him drop Charles and go for the finish because, he is a finish fighter, and Charles catching him in a triangle, catching an armbar in that transition. With that being said, Charles has very, very tough weight cuts. He's missed weight before, even in title fights.
When the combat sports world found out that Arman Tsarukyan and Charles Oliveira were being booked for a second time, this time with the BMF title on the line at UFC 331, the reaction across the MMA community was immediate and loud. not because anyone was surprised these two would meet again, but because everyone who watched their first encounter understood exactly what kind of violence is coming. This is not a rematch being made out of desperation or politics. This is a rematch being made because the first fight left too many questions unanswered, and because both men have done nothing but prove they belong at the very top of this sport since that night. So when MMA professionals, coaches, and analysts started weighing in with their predictions, the conversation got serious very quickly. The first meeting between Tsarukyan and Oliveira was one of the most technically fascinating and emotionally volatile fights in recent lightweight history. Tsarukyan came in as the calculated, pressure-heavy, technically sound wrestler with hands. Oliveira came in as the submission artist with the kind of dangerous striking that people chronically underestimate. The fight was close, disputed in some corners, and for both men, it ended without the definitive statement either of them wanted to make. Now they are getting that definitive statement, and this time, something bigger than a ranking is attached to it. The BMF title carries a different kind of weight in the UFC. It is not the world championship, but in many ways, the fighter who holds it carries a specific identity, someone who is willing to go to war, who the fans love to watch, and who has earned a reputation as one of the most exciting competitors in the sport. For a fighter like Charles Oliveira, whose career has already included a UFC lightweight championship and some of the most dramatic come-from-behind performances in the history of the organization, this fight is about reclaiming momentum and reminding the world he is still a genuine problem for anyone in that division. For ARMAN Tsarukyan, it is about something different. It is about proving that his rise is not slowing down, that the next stage of his career includes statement wins against proven elite names, that he is not just a contender, he is a finisher with a future that belongs at the top of the lightweight conversation for years to come. Several respected voices within the sport have noted that what makes this rematch so compelling from an analytical standpoint is that both fighters have continued to evolve. Tsarukyan has added finishing ability to an already technically sound all-around game. Oliveira has never stopped being dangerous, and if anything, fighters who dismiss his chin and his ability to shake off pressure in the second and third rounds tend to regret that decision very quickly. The stylistic breakdown of this fight is where it gets genuinely interesting. Tsarukyan's base as a wrestler gives him a significant option that not every lightweight possesses. He can make Oliveira uncomfortable on the feet and then threaten with takedowns to disrupt rhythm. He is not a one-dimensional wrestler either. His hands are sharp, his timing is good, and he moves well enough to create angles without overcommitting. The general sentiment among professionals who have studied this matchup closely is that Tsarukyan's path to victory runs through control, physical control of distance, positional control on the ground, and tempo control across all 3 rounds. If Tsarukyan can make this fight methodical and stop Oliveira from setting his feet and getting comfortable, he takes a significant chunk of Charles's most dangerous weapons off the table. But here is where the conversation becomes more complicated. Oliveira is not a fighter who simply waits for things to go wrong before he starts solving problems. He is one of the most adaptive competitors the lightweight division has seen in the modern era. His submission game is elite, genuinely elite, and the moment Tsarukyan's takedown attempts turn into scrambles, the threat level shifts dramatically in Oliveira's favor. Analysts within the combat sports community have pointed out that Tsarukyan's confidence in his wrestling could become a double-edged sword. The better the takedown, the closer he gets to Oliveira's guard, and Oliveira's guard has finished some very good fighters. On the feet, Oliveira carries power that tends to get more credit in hindsight than it does before the fight. He has a long, somewhat unorthodox delivery on some of his shots, and he disguises his intentions better than people give him credit for. If Tsarukyan gets too comfortable on the outside and starts loading up, Oliveira is more than capable of timing a counter that changes everything. The key question this rematch raises, the one most professionals are genuinely uncertain about, is whether Tsarukyan has developed the finishing instinct needed to close out Oliveira before Charles can turn the tide. Because if this fight is still close entering the championship rounds, the historical evidence suggests that Oliveira is a different animal at that stage. He does not panic under pressure, he does not slow down the way some fighters do, and his submission threat does not diminish with fatigue. It often increases because tired opponents make loose technical decisions. Those who follow the sport carefully are not dismissing Tsarukyan's chances, not even slightly, but the argument being made in many serious corners of the MMA world is that ARMAN needs a cleaner, more decisive performance this time. He cannot afford to let the fight breathe in long stretches where Oliveira can find his range, find his rhythm, and start building confidence on the feet or in the clinch. The BMF stakes add another layer to the psychological dimension of this rematch. Both fighters are crowd pleasers. Both fighters have built their reputations on exciting, high-stakes performances under pressure. Neither man is likely to approach this with the goal of surviving the rounds. That mutual willingness to engage is exactly what makes the MMA community so excited and so nervous about what happens fans when they share the octagon again. In terms of a prediction, the professionals who have weighed in on this fight have not reached a clean consensus. That itself tells you something. When experienced coaches and fighters with elite credentials are genuinely divided on the outcome, it means the fight is as close and competitive as it looks on paper. The lean from many analysts is towards Tsarukyan, based on his continued development, his ability to control the pace and physicality of a fight, and the argument that a better version of the same game plan, executed more precisely and more aggressively, gives him a clearer path to a decision or a finish in the later rounds. But Oliveira's believers are not quiet either. The argument for Charles is simple and powerful. He has been in harder moments than most people inside that octagon, and he finds ways. He has been dropped, hurt, and taken down by fighters who were supposed to end the night with a finish, and those fighters have ended up tapping instead. His resilience is not just mental toughness, it is a technical, methodical ability to stay alive and then become the most dangerous man in the room. This rematch is going to tell us something important about where Tsarukyan's ceiling really is, about whether Oliveira still has the timing, the sharpness, and the tools to compete at the very highest level of the lightweight division, and about what the BMF title means in the context of a genuinely elite 155-pound matchup rather than a pure entertainment spectacle. At UFC 331, both fighters are going to bring something to that octagon that neither of them showed fully in the first fight. Whether that advantages the calculated aggressor or the elite survivor is the question that will be answered in real time. Now the real question for you, watching this matchup develop and listening to how the MMA community is responding, is this. Do you think Tsarukyan has genuinely fixed enough of the problems from the first fight to get a decisive win this time, or does Oliveira's ability to survive and shift momentum in late rounds still make him the most dangerous man in this rematch? Leave your prediction in the comments. We want to know where you stand, and if this kind of deep breakdown is what you are looking for, serious analysis, real fight predictions, and reactions to the biggest news in combat sports, subscribe now. We break it all down before anyone else.